Hi, I'm Katherine Beck, and I'm auditioning for the role of the All-American Accent Coach. Kidding! But what I'm not kidding about is giving you some of my very best audition tips when auditioning with an American accent right here in this video. And of course, for all my very best tips on how to perform with an American accent, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time a new video comes out, which is on a Wednesday. Now, I've been auditioning since the age of 17, and back then things were a little bit different. For example, I would have to travel into my agent's office to film the audition on a VHS tape that we would pop into the mail and send to LA, and it would be several days before we would get a response. These days, things are all digital, it's all online, mostly all self-tapes, right? So things are happening a lot quicker. So you have to have a really good audition strategy happening for yourself so you can feel really confident auditioning with an American accent. So I'm gonna break that down for you in this video. My biggest tip for you when auditioning with an American accent is to speak in your American accent before the audition, before you film the self-tape. The reason for that is we never want to warm up into the accent when we're filming or when we're in the audition room. We want to feel like our articulators are warmed up and ready to go so that we don't ease into the accent when we're performing. We want that accent in place. So you need to make sure that you're doing that work leading up to the audition. So whether you start at the beginning of the day when you wake up and everything you say in that day is in the American accent, or maybe a half an hour to an hour before you audition or put the self-tape down, then you want to start speaking in the accent. But you really want to make sure that your articulators are ready to go, your voice is ready to go, your body is ready to go, so that we can calm those nerves, ease those nerves, and really allow ourselves to connect and feel free in the audition. So that's my biggest tip to auditioning with the American accent. Tip number 2 is to stop worrying about what that other person in the audition room or watching your self-tape is thinking about your audition, whether it's your performance, whether it's your character, whether it's your accent. As long as you're doing the work leading up to the audition and you feel good about the audition, that's all that counts. Don't worry about what they're thinking. Don't worry about what their expectations are. You do you, and that's going to shine through. So don't worry about whether it's right or wrong. As long as you feel connected and truthful to the character and to the performance, we will be engaged, we will be connected, and we will be considering you for that role. It's when you're overthinking and you're in your head and you're focusing. That's where we start to lose interest, right? It's not fun for you as the actor, and it's not fun for us as the viewer to watch somebody heavily involved in their process instead of letting go and being present in the moment. So stop worrying about what the other person is thinking. Now comment down below and let me know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous do you get before a big U.S. audition when you have to audition with an American accent? Now, tip number 3 is make sure that you can be seen and heard. I know it's obvious, but sometimes we forget about the simple things, like visually, can we see you? Do we have enough light? Audio, can you be heard? One of the things sometimes we don't consider is the possibility of maybe we should have an external mic so that they can really pick up on the voice and we can wash out any external sounds that could get in the way. Now, I've got my microphone here. This is my external microphone that I shoot with, which is the Rode NTG3, I believe it's called, which is called a shotgun mic. And it's great for just that nice direction, picking up on my voice and keeping that clear and making sure that we don't hear those exterior background noises. So this is what I use. I love it. It's super easy to use. But again, you don't have to spend a lot of money on your tech, but make sure you have the right tech. As long as we can hear you clearly and we can see you clearly, well, you're already a step ahead of the game. And finally, tip number 4 is learning how to give yourself direction. So because, all of us are now having to do self-tape auditions, it's the norm now, you may not be used to giving yourself direction, right? So you got to get used to, instead of getting really laser focused on one way of performing the scene or one way of performing the character, give yourself a couple of different options or choices to work with. Explore some big directions where you really work out of your comfort zone and see what happens. Because you're filming at home, well, this is a really good opportunity to just, do a couple extra takes, explore it big and bold, and see what happens. You may not use those takes, but guess what? You may actually use those takes. Those takes might be gems because you allowed yourself the freedom and the ability to go somewhere where you naturally usually wouldn't go. So allow yourself to be the director. Give yourself big directions. So now you know all my very best audition tips when auditioning with an American accent. And if you want more great tips, make sure you download my free guide, The 7 Steps to Performing with an American Accent. It's yours. It's free. Just click on the link down below. And if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thanks so much.